if anybody's watching. I'm testing now if this is working. Hello and good evening. This is Propaganda. Um, uh, Trying to search if it's working. Search filters, channels. I think that's how I'm gonna find my channel. There you go, view channel. And I'm not live. Oh, there's something on the video, but I can't seem to open the video for some reason. I'm kind of getting sick for some reason as well. Can you join? For some reason I can't open it. What the heck? Oh, there we go. I have it. Let's go. Holy shit, okay, we're live. We are live. For some reason I can't open it. What the heck? Oh. Why is why is it so weird sounding? Let's go. Holy shit, okay, we're live. For some reason the mic is not that good. But okay, so as you can see in front of me, we have a bunch of lectures that I would like to teach. So why am bro why am I here? Let me get used to the computer. I haven't used the computer all day. Why am I here? So I want to learn how to teach and teach these lectures here. Why do I want to do this? Because I want to increase my knowledge, and I think teaching in general is the best way to understand something and understand it at a core level. But okay, as you can see, these are a bunch of lectures that are yeah, at first it seems like it's a lot, but there's a logic behind the setup between these lectures. Um, I haven't. I need to bring a glass of water, so I'll be right back. For hold on, let me put uh something on. So, or actually, I'm just gonna go. I've returned. Okay, so as you can see, here are our lectures. And I thought about all these subjects um, for a bit. I'm not an expert, and of course, I cannot become an expert in every field that I'm talking about. But I think in order to um, understand like the basic principle of like the basic idea or analogy that is easy to understand is like I want to create like the idea behind it. It's not like concrete. It's just like the idea behind it is kind of understand like when you play a video game, we get the manual for how to use the controller. But where's the controller of the mind? We don't have a controller. Or we didn't. We have a controller, but sorry, we have a controller, but the controller we didn't get the manual. Where's the manual? So this is kind of a question I want to answer. So lecture one: evolutionary neuroscience and genetics. So what environment was our brain made for? So this controller of the brain. Like if our brain was a controller, what what was it made for? What was the controller made for? Right? We have to understand like the basic understanding of how the controller was created through like an evolutionary and genetics perspective. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to have genetics. Um, it's just a rough draft right now, and let's look at the second lecture. So once we understand where the controller, like the environment and like the evolution of this controller, how it was created, now we have to understand kind of the human. And humans have language, and that's a very important thing. It's really important. I think it's something it's like a very species defining attribute. A lot of species have species defining attributes, but it's just something very special. The level of communications between humans is like very abstract and like abstracts and shows intelligence. So that's something interesting. And I also want to look at religion. I think religion is also something like humans are. I've heard from like there's on YouTube this teacher Professor Jang, which creates cool videos. And his theory is it comes from religion. So shout out to him. But I wanna. It doesn't. It's not. This is not only resting on this person. Religion is something also I feel like a human defining. Um, so yeah, what is the significance of language? Like, that's an important thing. So then lectures three, the self concept and identity. So what is the self? I want to explain the self, and the self is something I will explain and I want to understand, of course, because it's something that defines our thinking nowadays. And I think we went one step in the wrong direction. Or some people have, or I can't, I don't know. I want to find the true path myself. I'm not gonna say what someone did wrong or right, but I feel like there's like a modern day mindset that has some principles that I don't like. So I want to see how they develop through time, and I can get a bit more historical perspective. And I want to break down what identity is, because there's a difference between the self and identity. So, epistemology, philosophy of science, and constructivism. I'm not sure if I want to. Maybe I want to do a separate lecture on constructivism, but what I really like about epistemology and philosophy of science, it helps us understand how what knowledge truly is. And when we understand what knowledge truly is, we can identify when we have learned something new. It helps us understand when is it that I'm actually learning, or is what I'm actually learning truly knowledge? And I think if you understand that properly, because you can also intuitively understand it, and that's totally fine. Um, but if you understand how you can get knowledge through constructivism, I think it's a good perspective. Or it's I don't it's not epistemological perspective. I understand that, but mm, uh, I want to probably do a separate lecture on it. So um, yeah, so that's how do we get knowledge and what it is. So lecture five, ontology. So there was this shift in philosophical thinking where people went from epistemology to ontology. Like I'm kind of breaking it down, but it's just like I'm being general, and I'm not an expert as well. Um, yeah, so there was a shift in philosophy, and there was like this step away from this materialist perspective at the end of the 19th century. This materialist view on Earth and understanding of the world. Um, the ontologists and especially phenomenologists, especially Merleau-Ponty, hopefully I said the name correctly. His theory of like embodied cognitions is something I really uh, like to. I think it's really important to understand how we work nowadays. I feel like this needs to be taught to people in high school. Okay, so we go from ontology, and phenomenology is basically the study of consciousness. Because the starting point for me is consciousness itself. It's the observer. It's true. I think that's the thing I identify. It's weird to say, but this is a bit weird to say, but like I don't understand. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but it's like consciousness is the thing I identify with the most, and I think like there's a shell, like not the shell, but it's it's just something weird. So phenomenology is the study of consciousness. So that's why I want to understand that better. So cybernetics, and this is where it starts. I think cybernetics is like a systems approach to the mind, understanding all the different um, how systems in your brain uh, connect, and how all of that comes into and influences your decisions. And I want to make this course pretty practical. So I think I made the outline somehow a bit too abstract. But that's okay. This is still the setup. Um, I want to be able. I want to at the end record lectures for this. Um, so this is gonna be my proof of research, and yeah, that's how. Yeah, may have to change that in the future. So now cybernetics, we look how like we put at like consciousness, like understand like the camera, and then what kind of things come to influence you, and how they changes your behavior, that kind of thing. So the first thing we do is in order to uh, in order to have a good understanding, we have to have a grip on the controller, and that is through meditation. To have like a be sensitive to what is happening and to counteract um, impulsive decisions, and that's really important. I think that's something I really want to work on in my own life. So I think I also need to start this experiment, because I already started the experiment and really changed how I approached life. So it's like something that a lot of religions have, which is really interesting, but I feel like it's somehow sometimes missing from our like material understanding of the world. And sometimes like I mostly agree with the materialist world. I think I would describe myself as a materialist, but it's hard to it's hard to live in a materialist world for many people, and it's causing a lot of problems. Um, uh, so let's see how it sounds. It's causing a lot of problems. Um, Hopefully, I can make this into a VOD and it stays on my channel. Okay, so we understand meditation. We have a better control of our controller. That's the best way I can understand it. So then you have this controller, and then you understand, okay, intelligence, lecture 6. So we have this control of the mind now. We understand like what intelligence is and how you manifest it in your mind, how you are aware of it. How cognition and how phenomenology, how consciousness interacts with all these systems, and that's what I want to show, that intelligence, creativity are like attributes of minds, and it's different for everyone. There's multiple intelligences. I don't think IQ, like Jordan Peterson says. I don't agree with Jordan Peterson in many ways. Um, but I also watched all of his lectures, and I saw that he had some knowledge that was worth looking at, and a lot of this is also inspired by him. And um, I do admit he's a good speaker. But I don't agree with him about his only IQ. Doesn't make sense. Lecture 10, temperaments and personality. So, how are we all different? And why is this important? Why would you say, like, you're doing a course, so why is it personality important? Okay, so it's just like the how you structure reality. And we all structure reality in different terms, because like you have to have a perspective on reality. And if you take the constructivist view of like going through the world, and this is what Jordan Peterson would say. But I don't agree with him with everything. But I think here he has something, something true at least, that we have to frame the world, and through that framing, um, and through the interaction with those structures, we come to behave differently and take things into account. So we have to also understand ourselves in that kind of way. And there's also many limits to this, and of course, gonna talk about that in the lecture when I actually do it. This is really gonna be hard. Like I'm also not used to speaking so much. So once we understand temperaments, we want to look into negative psychology, because we have to understand how to be empathetic to ourselves and to other people. And then we have to understand what are the basic um, negative emotions that people experience, and what the best approach is against them. And that's what lecture 12 is going to be about: positive psychology, which is quality of life, where I explain all the different areas where you can actually practically gain more meaning in your life. And then we have lecture 13, which is science of learning and teaching. So how what is the best way to learn? You know, I will I will want I want to teach how I want to teach how you can excel in uh, academics, which I'm currently a student, bachelor student, and my method has been getting me decent grades, and I've been studying a lot. But that's all about like memorizing, and that's, to be honest, that's not truly learning. So we want to break down like what can you learn, and what is like, and that's gonna be also in lecture nine, like crystallized intelligence versus fluid intelligence, where one is like the basically the power of your computer, let's say, or your brain, where the other is like how much knowledge you have, like how much experience and built up neuronal structures and connections that you build up over time, which is also really like more important at the end. So that's going to be science and learning and teaching, and lecture 14 is real and sustainable economy and pragmatism. Like at some point we have to like understand that we have to be pragmatic, and uh, we want to create a sustainable and a real economy where everybody has their fair share. And I'm fine if it's a capitalist economy, but like a lot of issues have to be addressed, and if it needs capitalism needs changing, um, I'm fine with that. But maybe it's also possible in a capitalist system. And I'm pragmatic about this. You know, you have to be pragmatic. You can't say, oh, this is not gonna work. You have to be pragmatic. Yeah, the world has to go on. People are working. People are buying stuff. It has to go on. So this is the lecture series. Um, so hopefully you enjoyed it, and